Oh, I'm so excited. I feel like I haven't filmed a video in so long. And today was so spontaneous. I'm just feeling lots of emotions. It's been a very busy week for me, and that really inspired me to film this video of just really looking inside and questioning what I want to do, who I am and what I'm doing, and how busy am I and how busy do I want to remain in the coming years? When all this is said and done, do I want to say that I had a busy life? Is that what my aim is? Is that what my goal is? And so, yes, having had a busy week made me question whether or not I love that and whether or not I want to continue down that path. So I'm gonna turn off my heater so that it's quieter. I'm so glad I get to film in this hair, by the way. Like, it would have been like, oh, I didn't get to film this hair because this color makes me feel so whimsical. I feel like a fairy, like I'm someone's like fairy godmother, my own fairy godmother. But yes, so this week I started a new job. I'm about 3 weeks into this job. And I did tell myself that starting a new job to give myself more time to adjust and to adjust quicker, that I would put in more time at the very beginning, because I've noticed a lot of employers these days don't really provide enough training time. Training really is just being in the thick of it. You're instantly, for me as a project manager, I started, and within the first week I was given 2 projects, and I've noticed, really come to think of it now, for most jobs, like I think someone else was saying, like starting off at Tim Hortons, you're instantly, you put in the till to start working, and your coworkers will provide you assistance as you require or as you ask, but ultimately you're learning on the job. And so for sure it's been learning on the job, learning a new job on the job, is with a lot of assistance, of course, and I'm so grateful for that. It's not a case of go and figure it out. There is so much support along the way, and I've noticed that everywhere I go, I always have like that, at least that one person that is like, I'm here for you. So I have a buddy, which has been really helpful. Still, it's a lot to absorb at once, and so as I'm absorbing it and I'm just really busy, I'm thinking to myself, is this the life I want? No matter what, because even regardless, I've noticed at the company you work at or where you are in life, there's always a busy season, and so I recognize that and I see that, and I'm asking myself, do I want a busy season? Is this how I want my busy season to look? And really just trying to direct my busy season so that it's not just something that happens to me out of surprise. But yes, the job was busy. Yes, this week is busy. Still, I've had so much time where it's just not busy and I get to take the time for myself. Still, this has prompted the thought of how busy am I? Every single weekend, we clean the house. How much stuff do I have? Do I want to clean the house every single weekend until the day I die, or do I want to get less stuff? And to get less stuff, you have to become less attached, and even less attached. So that's really what prompted this video, is just to say that I think there's even a song on social media right now about how busy adulthood is and how busy living is and how occupied we are. And I'm just thinking now, I remember as a student, I used to go by assignments. So I knew that, okay, it's the beginning of the school year, things are relaxed, you're okay. And then there is midterm season, so it's going to be busy. So you look forward to, okay, my last midterm is on, April 25th. So let me just do what I need to do until April 25th and I'll be okay. And then after that, it's like, oh, that's not midterm season. Midterm season is before that. That's exam season, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you just put dates to things. You put dates to events and think, okay, when that date comes, I'll become less busy and I'm free to go on my summer break. I'm free to go out and hang out with friends and so on and so forth. And I realized in a way that I'm doing that with work as well. And as a project manager, a lot of things are around dates. And as an adult, a lot of things are around dates. When is the next this? When can we complete this? There's a knock on the door. Okay, I'm back. So I noticed that by setting dates to things, by thinking, you know, midterms are over on this date, exams are over on this date, I'll do this when this is over, that time is going by faster. Again, a busy week at work, and as I was looking through, today is Friday, and as I was looking through and planning my meetings for next week, I realized next week already is like mid-June. I believe next week the 15th starts. Let me see. Yeah, next week the 13th starts, and because I have a very important deadline that I've committed to on the 15th, work related, to deliver a business case, which won't be relevant in a year from now. It won't be relevant a month from now, realistically, not to talk of a year or even 5 years from now. It won't be relevant, but yet it's so important right now, and it's so important that I get that thing in and I get it done, and I get it done correctly right now. Now, of course, it won't be relevant a year from now, but the skills and the doing of it right now builds up and creates the little building blocks that will be what my life is, you know, a year from now. So it's just thinking to myself that, wow, by waiting or doing things so that I'm ready on that day, I miss so much of the in-betweens. And that's something I noticed at school as well. I noticed school went by really fast for me. By the end of the 4 years, I thought, like in high school and in university, at the end of it, I was like, it's over already? Like, I just started. That's kind of how it feels like. But when you're in the thick of it, of course doesn't feel that way. But time, I believe, moves faster when you're not living and you are counting the days until whatever the until is. And one thing I've learned is that no matter what happens, at the end of the day, the things that you were looking forward to always ends up becoming. Like, I can think of all the vacations I was excited to take. The time always came where I took the vacation, whether it was meeting a friend. I was excited for an event to meet a friend I hadn't seen in a while, and I was like, oh, what are we gonna do? Where am I gonna wear? What's the weather gonna be like? As I'm excited for those events, it's like life is passing me by right now. And I really believe that speeds things up. And as I've grown up, it feels like things have really sped up as well. I'm just like, time is going by like, where is time going? I don't know. It's gone. So yeah, so that's really led me to question who I want to be, how I want to be that person, and what is important to me. And I'm realizing more and more that this isn't it. This is not it. And I get to decide, you know, what I want and how I want it. And I'm realizing now that I don't want this. The beauty here is I really did choose to experience this. I designed this life that I'm living right now. Granted, it was off of the backs of my ancestors, of the rest of the world, the people who said, you know, go into the corporate world, become an adult, have children, buy a house, by creating all of these lists for me and creating all of these to-dos for me, you know, keep a clean house. All of those things became a dream of mine where I said, okay, I'm gonna grow up and I'm going to work in corporate and I want to make a certain amount by a certain age. And now that I'm there, I feel like I've really achieved all of those things that I set out. Like, when I think of a younger version of me, I'm like, this is pretty much the life that I anticipated I'd be living right now. And so being here and realizing, oh, there's a lot that goes into this life, I'm re-asking myself, well, what do I want now that I've experienced this? And it has been beautiful. School, as busy as it was such a beautiful experience. And I am forever grateful that I got to experience that. Being in the corporate world, and one of the goals was earning as much as 100K plus. Achieving those goals, I'm like, oh, okay, I've done it, you know, I've experienced this, and I'm so grateful to have experienced this, because one of the things about this life is that sometimes until you achieve it, you either think that that means you're incapable if you don't achieve it, or you think that you're missing out on something. And by actually setting these goals for myself, and saying I want to be an adult, I want to experience what life is as an adult, living in Toronto, possibly with a family, working in corporate, hanging out with friends, being around people, having all these friends. I manifested all of those things, and now I have them. And they are so beautiful, so beautiful. But like everything else, they come with the amazing side to them, and then the shadow side to them as well. And experiencing them, I do feel like it's time to transition. So for myself, I definitely feel like there comes a time where I'm actually on my way out of corporate. It might be, I have it in my head that it's like a 2 to 5 year plan to transition out of corporate, whether it's starting my own business. But something I've thought of as well is whether you're a farmer or you own your own business, and my sister owns her own business, there is this busy energy that comes with the lifestyle we've created in our world. And I'm certain that there are people living in different cities, and I've actually heard of that, like different countries and different cities carry their own energy. I live in Toronto, Ontario, and the energy here is very busy. So I assume running a business here is a very different energy than running a business in a village somewhere. I'm Nigerian, so a village somewhere in Nigeria, where like my grandmother owned a counter. So a counter is like, it was like a rectangle, maybe even square, like box, but it wasn't a box. But she sold things from our house. So we lived in this little house, and in the front of it she would sell things, but the things were in what we would call a counter. And even with that, like I was a child, so I didn't feel it, but it seemed less competitive. But even with that, it came with its own energy as well. So it's reminding myself that even as a prospective business owner, what kind of energy do I want to bring into the world? Is it the energy of needing to and wanting to get things done, of scaling up, of doing better, of profiting? Or am I in the business of just doing and being? Because something else I think about is, if I was to create my own business, if I'm in the business of profiting, or if I was a farmer, even as a farmer, there are particular seasons for particular things. And I presume that if you don't go to your farm on a particular day to water it and to collect the fruits, then you lose out on that fruit. So it's the idea of, do you just want to be, and you are a farmer and you allow the fruits to spoil or die if they choose to? Or do you want to go and continue to farm? And because if you have a set day and a set time where you have to be at the farm, rain or shine, then you will find that you're impacted, right? Because there's always something to do. You have to clean up the farm, you have to water the farm. 4, 5, 6 is the time right now. You have to water the farm. You have to do so many different things, and you may not desire it. It's that idea of, do I want to do the things that I do not desire, and am I willing to live with the consequences? So one of the things that I've thought of is living in, and I plan on doing this at some point, at least for now, is going off and living in a secluded place, without people, without things, just living on the bare minimum by myself, to be by myself mentally. Again, I've been surrounded with so many amazing people, yet I'm curious to know who Eva is without all of the people, without all of the things, without all of the desires and the needs and so on and so forth. And so I've experienced the life of living in a very busy town, doing very busy things, and now I'm curious as a soul what my life would be like without all of these things, and creating my own food, and possibly starving at some points if I choose to go and have my freedom as opposed to doing for other things, right? So if if I farm and I create my own food, but I find that there's a particular week where I don't want to farm, then I will not farm, right? Because if I farm when I don't want to farm, then I'm in the same field that I'm in now, which is doing things that I don't want to do when I don't want to do them. So I just found that as a society, we've created a bubble that looks a certain way, that behaves a certain way, that requires certain things. And now, as I'm growing up, I think to myself, when all this is all said and done, I'll probably say this a lot. When I die, when I'm dying, and it won't be the typical death, but when I'm exiting this plane, what do I want to say I've experienced? And one thing that sounds exciting for my soul is having multiple lifetimes in one. So I wanted to have the life of a farmer. I want to have the life of a project manager. I wanted to have the life of a mom. I wanted to have the life of, living in Toronto, a busy town. I want to have the life of living in a village. I want to have the life of living, in the bush somewhere. And I'm sure that comes with its own unique experiences. But for me, it's almost as though just hopping from one image to another and exploring the image and saying, wow, like this room, this image that I'm in right now is amazing. And these are all of the beautiful things about it. And these are all of the shadow aspects about it. And then hopping to another image and living in another country. I plan to move to Australia. So having that image and saying, wow, like, I've seen the image that is Australia, and it's this and it's that, and now I want to live in another image. What is it like in Mexico? So yeah, I just have all these different goals and dreams and ideas and thoughts and things that I want to manifest, and it feels like I'm only at the beginning. But one thing for sure is there is a need and a desire to slow down. I don't see the benefits that we have of doing and never stopping. So I look forward to seeing myself transition and go through this process. And it's nice to share it, to say, I'm thinking this, because these are all thoughts. Like, in many ways, none of these are reality. I just got into the corporate world. I just started becoming a high earner. So it's not like I have like the savings to drop everything and go. And that's also questioning, what is money to me? What do I want with money? What does money do for me? So yeah, it's quite interesting and quite exciting to do all of this. But again, this is just, it feels just like great to just get these thoughts out there and just kind of say these things and to see how they manifest and how they become and how my thoughts change in the future. So I'm searching to see if there's anything else I'd like to say, or really if there was a direct point to this, but this is just a thought, a group of words strung together in a video that is also strung together by images. But Doll Dots of Love and Light is out. Thank you.